Namaste, beautiful sister and brother within Source Consciousness. Here now, ready to get aligned in week 8, dive in deeper into harmonious alignment, harmonizing body, mind, and soul. The breath, the greatest harmonizer of all. To exhale out, the letting go, to release resistance, release whatever has been experienced, to open up more spaciousness for the next breath, the next possibility, the next thought form, the next inspiration of creativity. So, in yesterday's video that I released last night, did a little bit of breathing. So let's just do that now. So you know how it goes. So I'm going to invite you to drop down, close your eyes, bring your awareness down, turn the palms over, soften the shoulders, ground down through the pelvis and the feet, flat feet, ground down to the pelvis, and then becoming aware of your breath. As you breathe in through the nose, the abdomen softens and rises, the rib cage expands, the chest expands. And as you exhale, exhaling through the nose or slowly through the mouth. Continue for a couple more rounds. So, beginning with the breath in each session, each transmission, dropping from the mental mind into the feeling body, and then depending on what's going on in your daily life, what's happening in your nervous system, continuing with that breath and dropping down to calm the nervous system, to harmonize and soothe the nervous system. Very important that the nervous system is switching into the parasympathetic nervous system and that the body feels safe to drop in deeper and to calm the conflict in energy or the dissonance, the disharmony. So that's what we're doing. We're harmonizing body, mind, soul harmony. I'm just after doing some beautiful yoga on my mat on the balcony here. So I'm feeling pretty harmonized after waking up, feeling a little, I just needed to move my body, a little discomfort of stiffness, and just needed to, stretch out the muscles and awaken, aliven, activate, and find that activation and relaxation, really to get the oxygen deeper into the muscle fibers and the tissues, the life force energy, to bring more grounded aliveness into my body, embodiment, bring more of my spiritual energy and consciousness through this embodiment. So a walk on the beach will do it, a walk in nature, singing, whatever puts us in a flow of connection and being present in the moment. So by now you realize that alignment is all about coming into the present moment and dropping from the thinking mind that gets really caught up in the past and the memories that get triggered, and projecting that into the future. And that's not a great way to use our faculty of imagination and focus. So what we're learning to do through these weekly sessions of alignment, of our consistent commitment to alignment, is to harness our focus, which our focus is our consciousness, the consciousness that's moving through us. We're focusing the lens, and we're focusing it more grounded and embodied. and aliveness, like bringing aliveness through the entire body rather than the energy being up here in the mental body. So dropping that energy so it's more in the embodiment, and then it can has a greater capacity to tap into a greater intelligence, actually, that our whole embodiment is intelligent. It's an intelligent design, divine blueprint. And we're activating more of the divine blueprint and the DNA, um, the DNA information, information and intelligence, which, yeah, more and more is being understood about the importance of our DNA. And as we awaken, we're activating more and more of our DNA, or we're re-remembering more and more of our DNA information and multidimensionality. So as we go in, we become more expansive in our capacity to expand our consciousness and awareness. And this is why meditation is so important, because it helps us expand our bandwidth of consciousness, of awareness, of information, of ability to translate that information as well and utilize it in a way that's helpful rather than overwhelming. With discernment. Discernment, that's where the wisdom of the soul is so required, and there's really nothing wasted in consciousness. So the contrast is knowing what we don't want to know what we do want, and dropping in deeper to the 0 point field to then connect back into that source code, the originator code of where we've been originated from pure consciousness, to really allow ourselves to be in alignment with what our heart truly desires. And those desires is brought about by the contrast of life, rather than identifying with the contrast of life. I like, I don't, I like, I don't like, this is good, this is bad, which is a lot of judgment, and that gets us attached and entangled into the external world instead of using it as information. It's all information. It's an experience, it's information, and it gets us to clarify for ourselves deep down what our true values are and what we're truly about and what we truly um, want to empower. And how we empower is we bring our intention and attention to what it is we truly desire to create. And this is what takes more self-mastery. And this is what these times require, is a greater self-connection through self-care, to take care of the nervous system, to calm everything down, to drop in deeper layers into that deeper connection with what might be called the mastery of the soul, or the wisdom of the soul, and that deeper inner mastery, to master our energy, which is mastering our focus, our intention, our attention, rather than getting swept up in what's going on in the external world, and get also swept up in unprocessed emotions, as those energies are leaving, as those more limited aspects are being acknowledged and felt, and whatever that is, we call this healing, right? Or we call this releasing trauma. So also, yeah, cultivating a deeper connection with ourself, so that we can allow ourselves to connect with the level of our consciousness where we allow all this to move through us. We realize that's what really meditation is teaching us, is that I'm not the body, I'm not the mental thoughts, I'm not the emotions. They're moving through me, moving through my awareness, moving through my consciousness. So with that, I invite you to take a few more deep breaths, and allowing that information to be processed on a deeper consciousness level, rather than an intellectual level. And the understanding is there, the awareness is there also. So continue with the breath as I have my slurp of tea. You may have your beautiful tea with you as well, or drink, cacao. Oh, yummy. Life is meant to be pleasurable, and I do love my first cup of tea in the morning. So week 8 in alignment. So yeah, the delivery of this is going to be a little bit later. It's going to be, I'm going to send it out tomorrow morning, Friday, instead of Wednesday. Um, yeah, but I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for the guidance within me to really bring through this intentionality of alignment and the consistent commitment to alignment. And that consistent commitment means even when it gets challenging, even when stuff is going on externally to disturb one's internal systems, and at the same time to be with those disturbances, whether it's fear or concern or anxiety, again, that this is not who we are. These are just energies, thought forms that are moving through, and we don't need to identify with them, sorry. We can just, yeah, we can just be there with them, like a loving parent. And I was reminded again, something I was listening to earlier about that love is not an emotion, it is a state of being. So really we're being the state of being of love, a state of consciousness, which is all encompassing and all inclusive and unconditional. And yeah, beautiful. Recognizes the beauty in all of life, in the creation of all of life, which is all of us, which is the beauty of the creation of our body, the beauty of the creation of our emotional states and feeling states and thought forms that are moving through, the beauty, the magnificence of it all. So there's such a beauty when we detach, so to speak, or get a bit of space and widen our lens. So I spoke about this, about that invitation to widen the lens of consciousness in my newsletter that went out a couple of days ago, or yesterday. So yeah, my heart is so excited today to go deeper with you, my beautiful loves, in this field of love, the state of being of love that incorporates all that we are, all that we've been, all that we are becoming, and in the here and now, culminated in the here and now, in this um, point of presence through the physicality, a coordinated, like a coordinate of consciousness, each one of us a special coordinate of consciousness, of the ultimate consciousness, whether we call it God, the universe, great spirit, nature, but we are a unique expression of that. No one is like us. Each one of us is so unique with our unique perspectives, our unique viewing glasses through our eyes and our senses, the external senses, the taste, the touch, the smell, the hearing, the sight, our internal and more subtle senses of inner sight, inner hearing, clairaudience, clairvoyant, clairaudience, all clair olfactory, smells, and clairsentient, awareness of energies, and clear cognizance. Clear cognizance is just clear knowing, just knowing, just knowing, just like consciousness knows. So when I take people through quantum healing hypnosis, and when I'm been in my own quantum healing hypnosis, deep down, any question can be asked, and the information is just there, because there's access in that level of the consciousness in the theta brainwave state. So as we align our energy, let me speak to that. There is that invitation that we're giving ourselves to harmonize our brainwave states. So the meditation moving from beta to alpha into theta. So deep meditators are operating in that theta brainwave state. And so the same with the quantum healing hypnosis, moving my clients into that deep theta brainwave state. And then in that level, it's, it's in the quantum field. And then people can tap in, my clients, myself, can tap into past lives or, memories in childhood or future lives, 6 months into the future, or, a lifetime into the future, because it's like coordinates in the quantum field. I find this so fascinating, who we truly are. So fascinating on the multiple levels. And yet, with all that fascination, like our physicality, to be here right now, embodying, I'm learning this myself more and more. And through this consistent commitment to alignment, it's become more apparent to me the blessing, or the blessing and the gift of the physicality, for to embody more of my higher self, true authentic essence, connected to source, to truly awaken as a source beingness, a source co-creator. And I guess that what that means is to really be in alignment. Funny enough, be in alignment, um, and like a lot less resistance and limiting ideas. So more, you know, yeah, it's like a more expansive way of perceiving oneself and thinking about oneself and knowing oneself, that is far more in alignment with the truth of source. So if you listen to Abraham Hicks, which I was doing yesterday, I love their meditations. They remind us again that source is working everything out, that it's already done, and that all we have to do is align ourselves into the vortex where whatever the desires of our hearts is, it's already created. And then the work is actually not getting in the way with our resistance, our limited thoughts, our limited beliefs. So that's the unpacking. So it's kind of like, in a way, unpacking all that, putting it down so that we can align ourselves and receive the blessings that are there for us. And again, I feel like that's such a big thing. I've been in the discovery of, and yeah, really, to surrender to receptivity, to truly receiving and letting it in the blessings, letting it in the gifts, um, without having to earn it, to earn. Because yeah, again, some limiting ideas and beliefs, but some of mine has definitely been earning my livelihood, earning God's love, earning, not being worthy, not being deserving. So again, a lot of that, or even feeling abandoned by the universe. I realized even this week, or the last little while, deep abandonment issues with the universe, or feeling abandoned, a part of me, an aspect of me, especially my childhood, because I was in two children's homes between the age of 3 and 6. So that perception of being totally abandoned, really, and the heartbreak of that. So some of that has been coming to the surface for me. Funny enough, through a cold sore that kept breaking and bleeding, and then waves of sadness, waves of powerlessness, was coming up on that emotional energy level, frequency level, to be released. And I was able just to be with that to the best that I could. So we're all doing the best that we can with all of this. So take a breath with that beautiful heart, and just breathing in, bringing your hands onto your heart, and just sending a wave of love and compassion for your heart. Unconditional love and compassion for the journey that you're on, and for your courage to navigate it in the way that you are navigating it. Your courage to show up day after day, week after week, to follow your heart, to follow the calling, to evolve your consciousness, expand your consciousness, to let go of what is more limiting, what is looking for completion, what is looking for resolution and acknowledgement. And there's wisdom in that also, the wisdom which gives great compassion to our hearts and our soul, also to source, because we are connected to source. So source is also gaining that from us as we resolve the contrasting energies or the dual energies within us. And the dual energies are just created, what we might call light, or what's in conscious awareness or in conscious view, conscious acceptance, and the dark, which has been banished or feels separate, um, feels disconnected, isolated. And so as the dark, so the dark isn't bad, there's no judgment, of course, from source, but this reconciliation really is where the dark comes back into the light of consciousness and shares its wisdom and its understanding from what it feels like to be disconnected and to have those beliefs born through that perception of separation. And so, yeah, then coming back to create that wholeness and holiness as the light and the dark, so to speak, exchange their insights and their wisdom and their compassion to allow a greater compassionate heart and human and soul and source, actually, in this greater awareness of who am I? Who am I? That impulse from source. Who am I? So in order to know who I am, I had to discover who I'm not. And we've done a good job of it on this planet, and now we're awakening into the remembering of who we truly are. And there's more texture to it, more insight, more depth, as we heal the shadow side, which is the shame, which is those heavier emotions, the fears. Yeah. So I'm just going to take a couple of breaths to just drop into what's now, what's next. So just allowing the breath to support you, to allow yourself to be with all of that acknowledgement, Mary Jo, for your own journeys, and all of that acknowledgement for the journey of humanity through all that will watch, tune into this, is tuning into this. Just a deep honoring and reverence is what's coming through for all our hearts, for our human journeys, and for everything that has brought us to this moment. And really acknowledging this moment, this glorious moment of now, of presence. And from this moment, how the future moments are being birthed from this level of frequency and energy and consciousness. Yeah. Feel so much beauty and so much love and so much connection in all of this. And from that place of 0 point field, or that state of being of love, which is the 0 point field of neutrality, equanimity, allowing, centered within self, the remembrance of the awareness. We allow, I allow, I allow the desire, I allow myself to receive the true desires of my hearts with ease and grace and love. And I acknowledge that the the way to let it in is through following what brings joy and excitement to my heart, to my body, to my beingness, what lights me up. And as I was on my yoga mat earlier, I was being reminded of something I learned many years ago. And I had to have quite a tough lesson to get it. And so I'll share that now. So at the time I was getting I was I was believing that my freedom was on the other side of money and on the other side of like the millionaire lifestyle, the house with the pool and you know, the material stuff. And what I discovered, what I re-remembered was that I was already free and that I didn't need all that stuff to be free. And interesting enough, when I realized that, and this is so important for me to re-realize and re-remember in this now moment, is yeah, is interesting enough in the recognition that I was free already. So I wasn't trying to get my freedom outside of myself because I'm free. I'm connected to source. I am, yeah, I can breathe and drop in and remember that connection and align with that connection and remember the abundance that is already here, abundance of breath. I've got a roof over my head, water in my shower, food in my cupboard. I've got everything I need right here, right now. I am free. I'm free to go down to the ocean, which is what I truly desire. I am free to dance. I'm free to do what I truly desire. With the technology, I have the technology. I have I have a car downstairs. I have what I need in this now moment. I have everything I need. I have a beautiful husband. I have beautiful connections and soulful conversations and I'm so grateful. So that recognition that right now, right here, I'm free already and that it's not in the material gains. So interesting enough, I'm remembering that this experience happened and then it shifted like it was a deep realization, a deep epiphany, a deep realization. I mean, I learned it the tough way because I realized that money didn't motivate me or the material stuff didn't motivate me. What motivated me, my heart, my soul, was was supporting my clients and people and through wellness and upliftment and an environment, creating an environment of that supports calming the nervous system and well-being and and that led on to interesting enough living the $1 million the $1 million lifestyle when myself and my husband we took over the lease of the retreat that we ran for 9 years and then launched Vibrant Living Retreat, which was our dream vision. And we really didn't have a lot of money. We had to get a loan for the lease, and yet we had everything we needed inside of us to create that, to receive it, to allow it. Um, yeah. And so I feel like I can feel a bit of emotion like this. I'm relearning that again, or re-remembering all of this again as I branch out into this new life, new chapter, new book of life. In this transition that I've been moving through over the last year and a bit, or last few years. I think we've all been moving through huge transitions since 2020 in whatever ways, whether it's just getting up to speed with technology and developments there, or just like moving out of jobs and marriages and locations, huge transition. Maybe you're going through the menopause, or and that's a huge transition, or you're birthing a child. That's a huge transition. So life is transition. And I feel like part of my soul interest is how to allow more graceful transitions through life And that's even graceful transition of aligning ourselves with the knowingness that the universe has our back and loves us, is a state of love, is a state of love, which is infinite abundance and inclusiveness. And how would that leave us out? The state of beingness of love is all inclusive. So that means I must be that love. I must be loved by love. And to me, this is divine love. This is what divine love is. And I am here as a divine love ambassador. Yeah, to remember and to remind others of these deeper truths and recognitions and remembrances and activations of remembrances, because it's required. It's required so that we can navigate our life with more gentleness and ease and grace and trust and surrender. We've, more the feminine energy, if you like, which is more the yin, the internal connection, and balance with the yang, the more masculine, which is the more external, which is, yeah, taking action, but from that inspired state of excitement and joy and creativity and fun, but not like from a place of connection rather than separation, a place of freedom. It's already inherent, an adventure rather than I need to get because I'm missing it inside. I don't feel I have it, so I have to try and get it on the external because I'm lacking. So this is the shift of consciousness. This is the shift of perceiving ourselves on this planet, which will serve us well in these times to navigate so that we're not drawn out of our center. So really, and this is what the alignment is about, is cultivating a greater inner centeredness in self, but deepening our familiarity with that center, what it feels like to be in our center, what it feels like to be out of our center, what brings us into alignment, what brings us out of alignment. So I've been doing a lot of speaking to this and highlighting this, so again, this is why that awareness of yeah, just what brings us into alignment, out of alignment. So again, as I've just mentioned earlier, is like, that can be negative, thought form, or a limiting thought, or a limiting belief, or some uncomfortable emotions that need to be acknowledged. Just like what I said from my childhood in the children's homes, there's been some really uncomfortable emotions that I've had to really be the space holder for and really take care of myself and trust and surrender and allow and know that this too shall pass, and really feel what needed to be felt to be fully resolved and integrated within me, so that those aspects now are feeling whole again, feeling unified, feeling lovable, feeling connected, feeling safe and supported as the wholeness and holiness within. Okay, so I don't want this, I would prefer that this video doesn't go any further or any longer, sorry. And yeah, I've covered quite a bit today. So enjoy the transmission, the remembrance, that your breath, anchor to the breath, always grounding down into the pelvis, into the legs, into the feet. Be here now, and all is well in all of creation. And so it is. Namaste.